Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Della, and today I wanted to talk to the people who love what they do but don't make enough money to live and survive. My heart really goes out to you. I am going to attempt to kind of like talk through your situation, give you some mindset stuff, but also, you know, some practical stuff, and really just like, I just feel like this is something that needs to be talked about. I got triggered today. I don't even know, triggering ain't the right word. I'm making this video because we go to the YMCA like 4 times a week, right? So they're like family to us. The ladies that take care of our kids, we drop our kids off in there. And there's one lady that works at the gym, and she's been there for a minute now. And so we come in this week and she's like, oh, you know, Thursday's my last day. And my daughter's like, oh, Miss TT, where are you going? You know, like, that's her name. And like, her spirit is so beautiful. Her energy is amazing. Like, she's so happy when we come in there. She knows all the kids' names and all these things. And so, you know, I'm about to drop the kids off and go do my work, and something in me is just like, you know, I ask her, you know, where are you going? Like, what do you have lined up? You know, because it's curiosity, and y'all know I'm very concerned with what people do for a living. And so she was like, I'll probably go work at like a plant shop. You know, I got some things lined up. You know, I have some ideas pretty much. So she doesn't definitely know where she's going. I said, you don't mind me asking, like, why are you leaving? And she said, I have to make more money. Period. And she was like, I love kids. She said, and she's like maybe in her late 30s, I think. She said, I love kids. I've worked with kids my whole life. I know that God has called me to children, to kids, and this is what I do. I've been a nanny. I've worked at a church. I've done everything. Like, I love the kids. She said, and I don't have no kids of my own, so I just know that God has called me to do this, but I have to pay my bills. And my heart just broke. Like, I text Myra and I was like, this makes me so mad. Like, I love her, and you know, I'm not trying to make saying we're best friends, but you know, you just like, you get to know people. They become a part of your everyday routine. And I thought about how many people in the world have to come to this crossroad where they're like, I love what I do, but I can't keep my lights on, right? Like, and we can talk about society, whatever. That's not what I'm here for, because I feel like a lot of people come to this place, even thinking about my mom, who loves, and I feel like kids are hard. Like, it's such a gifted area, and it's so important. There's enough people out here mistreating kids. And so when someone really loves kids and they treat them right, I feel like that's so important. And I think about my mom, who loves kids, and she she's good with kids, and she stayed at home with us growing up. And then she recently, you know, got sick, and she qualified for disability but couldn't get it because she didn't pay enough into the system. And I just think about these people who sacrifice their life for children, and our society is not set up so that they're taken care of. Like, that's a big part of my why, because I think about myself and I'm like, listen, I pulled back because I wanted to raise my children, but I'm, you know, slowly kind of going back in as I got all my kids on the earth now. And so things can change for me, but I think about my skill set and my gifts and even just my background and stuff. They're very profitable. Like, somebody will want to pay me for the things that I feel called to do and the things that I do. But I'm like, that does not make me better than the person that feels called to work with children. And so anyways, it got my brain just thinking through, what is a solution for these people? Y'all know I'm always thinking through that. How can somebody live with the vision that God gave them, but also meet the very real reality that bills have to be paid? And this lady, she's single too. And so, you know, it would be different if she was married, and I don't think you should have to be married to do what you're called to do and to survive and pay your bills. I don't think so. So beyond the very practical things that everybody always talks about, having multiple streams of income and, you know, whatever, I want to really unpack this thing and get behind the mindset of it, because it's all a mindset. It's, you know, there has to be a shift in the way you're thinking and the psychology behind it. I want to kind of tap into that a little bit. That might help you, hopefully, if nothing else, do what you love with your head up more. So I have, I think, like 5 or 6 tips. Y'all know I always get my numbers wrong. But number 1, your net worth does not determine your worth. And before you're like, duh, like I've heard this before, but I really, like, you really have to get this, because if you get this, it really determines how you carry yourself. So if you, I'm just going to use the taking care of children, but I know there's different professions also that are in the same crossroads, like, you know, cleaning, service jobs, trash men, just different things like that. But I'm gonna use the children for example. If you're walking around taking care of kids, and then when the parent of the kid comes to pick up their kid, and you kind of like, you know, just because they're a doctor making multiple six figures or whatever, you kind of have your head down, you know, that's gonna affect the way you carry yourself. But you should still have your head up, because you are an expert in your field. You're especially for those of you that have been taking care of children for years, you're an expert in your field. So that alone, and you're doing an honorable job. Like, if we had better humans taking care of children, then perhaps we would have better humans on the earth. You know what I'm saying? So yes, and that's so important. And that leads me to number 2. Because the way you carry yourself can affect your energy, which leads to more opportunities. Here's what I mean by that. Time and time again, I have seen. So for instance, my kids go to a Mother's Day Out program. Some of the teachers there have been hired on as nannies for families, right? I have constantly seen somebody doing what their job that they have at the moment with such excellence, that somebody walks up to them and gives them the same exact opportunity to do exactly what they're doing, but maybe in better environment and significantly more pay, right? Because you are an expert and you are a specialist. But not just that, y'all, you carry that energy. Let me tell you something. If we were in the position to where we could have a full-time nanny, Miss TT here would be it, just because of how she shows up to her part-time opportunity. And so I think just that mindset shift, like, I am an expert. And so it doesn't mean you come with a suit on, but if the attire is tights and a t-shirt, you know, wear tights and a t-shirt, make your hair feel, you know, good, make your makeup look good, you know, or if you're gonna wear makeup, or if you don't, just come with the intention and ready to show up to do your job. And number 3 is kind of what I was talking about. You can still do what you love, just maybe at a higher level. What I'm not talking about is so many people be like, especially going back to the kid example, they'll be like, oh, you love kids and you're good at it. Come over here and be a manager of other people who love kids and are good at it. That could be a disaster, right? The worst thing you can do to someone who really loves kids is take them and tell them, now you can manage adults. They probably don't like adults. Like, people who love kids, they patience for adults is probably really low. And so I just think that shouldn't be the only answer. It's like teachers, right? They'll be like, you are the best teacher. Come be a principal. What? That's not the same. It's just not the same. Not saying you can't do that. That might be the next level for you. But sometimes the next level is doing what you do at a higher level, like just still taking care of kids, but maybe you take care of kids in, you know, a wealthier school, or I don't know. That's not the answer either, because you might be called to some special type of group. It's a special group of kids. But like I'm saying, don't limit God, because you could literally be taking care of these kids on a part-time level, and God could say, hey, I'm sending a family that's about to hire you as a nanny, and now you're not going to be making $10 an hour. Now you're going to be making $3,000, $4,000 a month doing what you love, but you can even, you know, zero in on it even more. Number 4, I know people talk about side hustles all the time, but here's the thing. When you have a clear vision of your life, you know without a shadow of a doubt, God's called me to take care of kids, and I'm going to do that until the day that I die, as long as he pays my bills and provides for me. It changes how you side hustle. So yes, the very practical sense, because people's like, do what you love and you won't have to work another day in your life. Well, listen, inflation is real. And so it's a lot of people out here doing what they love, and they got to side hustle so that they can still eat. But do it with a different mindset. So then you're not like, oh yeah, I got to go Uber eat, or I got to go do this, or you're not ashamed of it. You're like, yeah, I have to do this so that I can continue to do what I love. It's the difference between, I don't know, being a rapper and you, I should have said a rapper, but you know what I mean? Someone who wants to achieve in the music area or a rapper. Let's just say, we can say a rap. Okay, here's why I'm struggling with the rapper thing, because I'm about to say you can work in a coffee shop. I just don't really see a rapper working in a coffee shop, okay? But let's just go with it. If you say you're a rapper and you also work in a coffee shop, you can work in that coffee shop with your head up, because you know this is allowing me to continue to build the dream that I know God put into my heart. And so that you release the shame and you can walk in boldness even in your side hustle. Number 5, I think it is, be disciplined in the life that you live. This is why I do the meal videos. This is why I used to do the budgeting videos and stuff like that. Because if you would just steward what God has given you, then it would make it a lot easier to walk in what you're called to do, even though it's not very lucrative. And that's kind of number 6 too, is to get creative in your overhead. So if I know God's called me to work with children, then I can drive my old car knowing that I buy cash cars so that I continue to work with children, right? Or I live in a smaller home so that I can continue to work with children. Or really, even in our situation, that's a big part of our why. Y'all know that we built our home. We built our home because we knew, like, I'm finna be an entrepreneur. And, you know, eventually it's going to be very lucrative, but there is a cost to this thing. There's always a cost to actually doing what it is that you're called to do on this earth. That's just period. So even if what you're called to do is lucrative, the cost is that you're willing to gamble some things. And so for us, we kind of started with the wisdom of like, hey, how do we keep a roof over our kids' head and make calculated risk as well? And getting creative in your overhead can also look like maybe you have roommates. Like I think about the lady that's single. Maybe you know, live in an RV like we did. I don't know. But you get creative about how can I keep my living costs down so I can continue to do what I love to do. Another thing too, I guess this would be number 7, is really look at the gift that what you're doing gives to your life. So for some people who don't make a lot of money, but they're doing what they love, the gift that it gives you may be freedom of time. So really utilize that gift for both you and the people around you, because you may feel like, dang, I don't like this job because I can't buy fancy gifts for people, but the job allows you to have the free time to bake them cookies or write a meaningful letter for them, you know, things like that. And that's just, again, a mindset shift. Also, I think the thing that's important is that we all understand this. Even if you aren't someone who what you do doesn't pay a lot, maybe what you do does pay a lot and you love it. I think the earth and the way that God set it up is that it is meant to take care of the people who are taking care of other people who may not earn a lot of money. And here's what I mean by that. I don't think the universe is taking care of nobody. I think God is. But what I'm saying is, just like, you know, the birds are taken care of, you will be taken care of. And don't be ashamed of the fact that you are gifted things when people gift you things. Like, you know, teachers, we try to be a blessing to our kids' teachers whenever there's things available, like meals or anything like that, or whatever resource it is that you're having to utilize so that you can continue to walk into the thing that God is calling you to do. I'm releasing you from any shame right now. Like, you're free from that, because you are living with intentionality. You are on a mission. You are focused. You are walking in that vision, especially when it comes to these babies. If you are taking care of children and you are experiencing some type of financial hardship, I want to just free you from any shame of the assistance or the help that you have to get. You are doing an honorable work. And here's what I want to talk to the people who you do have a lucrative career, you do have lucrative giftings that society sees as worthy of paying well. We have an obligation to take care of these people. And this is why I'm unashamed of saying my speaking costs. You're like, oh, you're speaking now? Yeah, here is my price. And here's the investment. That's what we like to say. Here's the investment. I'm not ashamed of that, because I know that these people will be taken care of if it's up to me. If wealth is in my hands, these people will be taken care of. I know that I want to take care of my mom. She took care of us. And just because society doesn't deem that as important enough to have access to, you know, Social Security or whatever, I don't even know how all that works. But on my watch, no, it's not happening. And so that's why, if you have access to real estate, if you have these things, set it up, y'all. We're setting it up for our girls too. We have this home and there will be other homes. And our girls, if one of them in particular, we feel like she's super chill, but she's super sweet and super caring. We feel like she is going to want to take care of babies, and so we want her to be able to do that, and we want to be good stewards of our finances and set things up so that she ain't got to go out here doing something else just to pay the bills. She can literally walk in her gifts. She can bless the families of those children that she watches. Shoot, we might set it up to where she can have, you know, a house to open up a little daycare, and she can take care of her sister's babies. And just really, what does that look like? Like, and creativity is a currency. That's a whole nother video. But your creativity is a currency, especially for those of you who feel like, man, I'm called to do this, it doesn't pay. Creativity is a currency. Ask the Lord to give you a fresh wind of creativity, because you could continue to do what you do, but in a way that's more lucrative. So I'm just praying a fresh wind of creativity over you. We were made to create. That's how God created us. And so creativity is a currency. Get creative in this thing. And so I don't know, I hope this was helpful. It just kind of broke my heart, and I felt like it was something I need to talk about, especially since I do speak more on like ambition and just, you know, discipline and personal development in that sense. I didn't want it to seem like I didn't honor, and I don't see the sacrifices being made by you guys. And so I love y'all. I'm praying for God to provide in abundant ways for you. See you in my next video. Bye.